Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're here. Sorry for the delay. The weather is impacting not just the show tonight, but also the podcast, unfortunately. Also, our hotel doesn't have the best Wi-Fi, so please bear with us if the connection isn't the best today. But we are excited to be here to talk about Goose's biggest show ever that happened last night in Forest Hills. How are you doing today, Neil?
I'm thriving. We've talked about this a lot on tour.
Day 6 for you.
We left the show last night.
Yep.
Drove straight to New Haven. Best idea ever. Went off without a hitch. I slept for almost 9 hours last night. I am the best I think I've been on this tour. I am so ready.
Let's go. We're ready. We're ready for the show tonight, whenever it does end up happening. But we got a couple of guests coming on today. One is still trying to figure out some technology, and so hopefully he will be able to join us in a bit. But we've also got our good friend Adam, a.k.a. 6ROM7. Adam, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Doing awesome. Despite the weather, despite the delay, vibes are still high here in New Haven, and we're feeling good.
We have the same background.
We do. Funny how that works. Almost like we're in the same hotel.
Excellent taste in
yeah. As you guys can see, based on Adam's current connection, the Wi-Fi here is not the best. But we are going to keep going. We are going to push through. And we're going to talk about last night's amazing show. Adam, let's start with you. Your pre-show vibe. Getting in there. The three of us were together last night. But how did you feel getting into the show?
Good. Got in from Philly. Checked in my hotel, got up to Queens, met Justin Ayers, Brendan, Becca, got a few beers, got in line, ran into you guys, and got great seats. So we were, almost dead center, a few rows up in the bowl. It was perfect. Yeah,
it honestly, thank you. Shout out to Brendan and Becca who got in line a little bit before us while we were on the pod yesterday. And we're able to, get a little space, and we came and joined them. And yeah, I really like the entry at Forest Hills. Some of the venues like this, there's kind of like a bottleneck as you come in, and everyone's like sprinting and trying to get the best seats, or whether you're on the floor or in the bowl. And I felt that the security there did a great job of like getting people not to run. Obviously, there's so much room outside the venue and inside the venue. So, what?
It's just like when you said getting people not to run, it was literally you. They were like, dude, don't stop.
They were talking to other people. I was not. I was just walking fast. You ended up ahead of me.
I beat everybody to the seat.
Yeah.
I just want to say.
Anyway, yes, as Adam said, we did have amazing seats. We were a few rows up just above the soundboard, dead center. Amazing view of the lights. A view of the crowd on both sides. It was just so cool. We talked about this on yesterday's pod about seeing the number of people at the Man. And what that was like. And it was the same. Yes, I do walk really quickly. As I said,
obnoxiously.
Well, and I said last night, we're walking to the car after the show as it's raining. And I asked Neil, Brendan, and Becca, I was like, can you guys walk at Ryan's speed so we can get to the car? They would not. But yeah, that's pre-show was great. Neil, do you have anything else to add for pre-show?
Pre-show, I did make it to the seats first despite not running. What else? Merch was amazing last night. It was running like a top. They the whole place came in. They somehow managed to get everybody. I got a poster last night, 10 minutes after getting into the venue, which is crazy.
Honestly, I have zero complaints about the venue last night. I felt that everything was just amazing about it. The sound, the lights, the seats, the sight lines. It was just incredible. So shout out to Forest Hills.
Hell of
a venue.
Actually, yeah. But I do have to say that the way that the venue is constructed is absolutely incredible. If you want a drink, you can get a drink. If you want food, you can get food, and not bad food, good, actual real food. And then the bathrooms, there were hundreds of urinals for the gigantic men's. I mean, everything about it was perfect. It was awesome.
And what was it? The base zone or the sign that you saw?
Oh yeah,
walking up the portals.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, the complete dead sound thing. Just because it's right in the middle of a residential area, and so that's why we had a 10 p.m. curfew. But also, all the portals and the stairs walking up into the bowl. You have the way that they're built is that like you can't hear anything. Like the crowd could be going nuts, you know, right outside, and you take 2 steps down the stairs and you hear like it sounds like they're like miles away.
You're in the bass trap.
Yeah. In the bass trap.
Yeah.
You're in the bass trap.
Which is
Wow, it's completely wild and it's dead silent.
Yeah. Really, really cool. All right. Let's dive into the show here. Start with the first. Let's start with the opener here. So I did some looking this morning on elgoose.net, and this is the first time ever that Hot Tea has opened a 2-set show. It has opened a few festival sets, a couple of 1-set shows. This is the first time we've had Hot Tea kick off a 2-set show. I thought that was really interesting. Adam, what was your thought on the Hot Tea opener?
Mixed, like unexpected. I thought it meant, all right, we're marked safe from a tea closer, which was cool. But I actually thought it worked. Like I thought it starts with high energy, builds, had some good energy. Like I actually thought it worked really, really well, as opposed to sort of a wind down. I thought it set the stage.
Yeah. No, I agree. The vibes were super high. You know, people were dancing, and I just like, you know, the jam didn't venture too far from Tea, but you got into this nice major key, you know, kind of peaky jam. Cotter crushing it again. Was he wearing a kimono last night?
I have no idea what the hell that
Something,
was.
but...
like he's really embracing.
Yeah, open shirt. You know, we've seen Jeff in some like, you know, like he's unbuttoned a lot of it, and he was shirtless once.
Yeah.
I guess twice, and also in Cologne. But yeah, Cotter's just going right for it.
Popping the top.
Yeah, popping the top.
Yeah.
Despite the warning not to pop, Cotter popped.
Yeah.
It happens. But yeah, you got any other thoughts on the tea?
Tea? No, just actually love this as an opener. And we say in this podcast all the time, encore that shit.
Open that shit.
Open with that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when you think about, like, the realm of music that you get as an opener at a Goose show.
Yep.
And, like, throw Hot Tea into the mix there. Like, fuck it. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's called sending a message. I think it's going to be heard loud and clear.
Yeah, and, like, I think that's right. I think that's exactly right. Like, do not pop.
Do not pop.
We're sending a message with that Hot Tea, which is like, we're here, we're going to party. This is a big show.
Yep.
And like, we're acknowledging that this is a big show and we're doing something different.
Yeah. Rick was also wearing, it was like an almost gold shirt. It was there was some good stuff. I didn't mention, as they walked out, Peter was like bouncing and was like, he would, you know, look like, you know, more Peter than normal, which was cool. They were just so excited last night. It was great. Anyway, first set continues with Lead Up and Turn Clouds here. Adam, what are your thoughts on these 2 songs?
Perfect slot for Lead Up. Like loved it there.
2-hole.
I think broad crowd appeal, you know, that indie vibe. I thought if you weren't hooked after Tea, especially there was a lot of people there for a show, you're definitely hooked after Lead Up. Good sing along. Everyone's having a good time. I was great slot for it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then Neil nailed the Turn Clouds bathroom break. That was like,
crushed it.
It was so Turn Clouds starts. Neil goes, "Oh, gonna go to the bathroom," and he walked back to the seat as they like hit the end of the song. Like it was so impressive.
Can I say something though before we like I love Turn Clouds as a song.
Yeah,
it's my thing. Like everybody's got a song.
Well, yeah, Seekers is my thing.
Turn Clouds is my song. And yeah, I had to do it. But yeah, man, it's just. Sorry, Josh. I'm really sorry. But like, I had to do it.
I thought it was great, and you know, appropriate lyrics. Look around this city. We're right in the middle of, you know, Queens. There we go. But then, first real like hot moment of the night, in my opinion. Like, you know, T was still kind of easing in. Yeti comes in. Yeti has been crushing it all tour. You know, this jam, you get a little digital sauce from Rick. Peter just laying into the guitar, a little bit of synth from him as well, and just nonstop energy. And this was the point where I think the crowd really like locked in with the band. Like people woke up. I mean, I was a little tired going in. Yeti got me going, which was great. Adam, what were your thoughts on the Yeti?
Yeah, I thought it was great. They've been doing this thing, maybe the last few Yetis I haven't re-listened, but where they go to a sort of quieter, almost half-speed section, or I don't know how to describe it, but they go into like a darker section, and they really find a good space there now. And it felt like they hung there for a little while longer than usual, and it felt like they were definitely just letting it breathe. I don't think it was like an aggressive solo or anything, but it just felt like it had more space and more. It breathed a little more. But I thought it was, again, great placement. Like if you look at the set list, I thought you had like Perfect Energy up, Energy down, Turn Clouds big, bright song, and then Yeti was like, oh, we're gonna do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Yeti is crushing this year. I used to be of the opinion that like Yeti is just kind of like you get through Yeti and then you kind of move on. And this one, the ones this year are like fun. I was dancing. I was having a really good time. I do want to take the conversation back a step, and talk about lead up.
Oh yeah.
So I forgot to talk about that when we were talking about it, but so this is going to infuriate like Brinkman so much.
Oh boy.
So I love it. But like when they started playing it, like RJ like turned to me, RJ from Osiris, who was like sitting with us in our section, and he was like, "This is the second national song that Goose does." Amazing. And when he said it, I never really thought about it before. I was like, "Oh man."
I'd always kind of likened it to like more of a Chili Peppers thing.
Oh God, no.
I said that to you when they debuted it, and you were not happy about it.
I do not like Chili Peppers. In any case, so he said that to me, which is really funny, and I can't wait to tell it to Brian. But Yeti, awesome dance party. It's what you need in the first set. It's what you need at your biggest show ever. And I'm going to keep doing this every time we do a pod after the biggest show ever. But when it's the biggest show they've ever done, there are guaranteed thousands of people in the audience
seeing
their very first show, and that is the way you do it. And you play these high energy songs, the songs that you think are going to hook people.
Right.
And I think they actually like curated their set list really well for the most part.
Sure. Well, and that's one of the things about people seeing their first show. One of the things that our good friend of the pod, Chop, like to say or maybe complain about, rather, over the last year and a half or so, is that all the greater New York area shows since Radio City have been at the Cap, which is a very small venue. And if it's your first show, you're not going to try super hard to get tickets for the Cap, right? So anybody who's become has been mildly interested in Goose in the last 2 years, maybe, and doesn't want to travel for them and wasn't able to get tickets for the Cap, maybe this is their first opportunity to see them. So yeah, I think last night more than ever, even like SPAC, last year there were a ton of people in Philly for sure, but they've played in Philly a bunch, and they SPAC is like a travel destination for a lot of people, and so this is like a big deal to be playing a 13,000 seat venue in New York City. And I mean, sell it out in the middle of yesterday afternoon, which was so cool.
Yeah.
You want to add anything else on that?
No, I'm good.
Next up, we get Hot Love and I Would Die for You. Shout out to friend of the pod, Connor. We could see him down on the floor, party hat on top of bucket hat. Mr. Hot Love himself. Vibes are unmatched. Except, in that area. Great song. Not in the opener slot. Trying something new with it. Great.
The only thing I want to add about that is you posted a video online of Connor dancing for that song.
Yep.
And there are literally, I would say, about 500 people in that picture, and you can see him perfectly.
Oh yeah, it's like a beacon. Yeah, it's like a beacon.
So I was vibing off of that when I was like hearing the song.
Yeah.
Because we've heard a lot of Hot Loves now. What is it, the fifth?
I think so.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Sixth. I feel like I've seen 4.
Yeah, it's winning. It's like doing the Thatch of last year race.
Sure.
Like far and away blowing everything out of the water, Thatch and Animal. But so that's what that song is doing right now. But I was vibing in that song. That was so good.
Mm-hmm. We have a question from the chat. Why didn't they play Eminence Front is my main question. Kyle, stick around.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it. But I Would Die for You comes out next. And let's hear, Adam, your thoughts on Hot Love and I Would Die for You here.
I mean, it's a standard Hot Love, which is pretty good. I thought I actually like this whole first set. I have trouble talking about it musically as much as just I thought they constructed a really good set. And I was sitting there going this is a huge show. Weather was really good at the beginning. It's mobbed. And I thought it was just the perfect set, whether it's an introduction for new people, whether it was for people who've seen a lot of shows. And I thought the same with Hot Love, not having an opening slot, having it, I don't know, cool down, but post Yeti. I just thought it was showing diversity. I thought it was great. It's a great song.
Yeah.
It's the first time I saw it live. I thought it was great. Should I talk about I Would Die for You too?
Yeah. Launch us. Yeah. Let's go.
I mean, I'd say the same thing. I actually thought that was the end of the set. I was surprised they squeezed in so ready. I don't think they needed to, but I thought that was such a good cover. on such the right like climate and day, and like there was so many people when I looked around that had no idea they play it. Like, so that was first, like tons of people. I saw a couple of women across from me, they were jumping up and down like when they recognized it. And I thought it went kind of big. Like again, I haven't re-listened to the show at all, but I thought it was like pretty big at the end. That's why I thought it was a set closer. I thought it was like the perfect energy to end with, a cover that people were singing along with. Everyone was singing. I figured that was going to set. So I thought that was up until then a perfectly constructed set, and that was like the capstone on it.
Yeah, I thought I Would Die For You was really great. Just hanging out in that like dance disco groove, and again, similar to Yeti, just having a great time, crushing the jam, and vibes continue to be high. Shout out to Kyle, I just mentioned before, my parents' good friend, who saw his first show last night, and one of the things he did to prep for the show was listen to a lot of the covers that Goose plays. And I Would Die For You was one that he mentioned before the show about wanting to see. So this was exciting.
Yeah, I mean, this cover has like breadth of attention. So I think everybody knows Prince really well.
Yeah,
and like you go to a show and you have a lot of people seeing the first show. But in any case, really killer choice. And the funny part is, in the moment, I was like, they're playing So Ready, and that's it, we're out, no jams. And they did play this, and they did jam it actually. So this is the first taste of jams that you get in this show, right? Mm-hmm. And it was pretty solid. I was stoked for it. Yeah, it was awesome. So
yeah. Set closes with So Ready after this. And yeah, Adam, as you mentioned, I was kind of expecting the set to close after I Would Die For You as well. Especially given the the time issues they've had with the second set the last few shows. And this was another thing. It's we're 65, 67 minutes into the set, could easily close here, give us ample time for a big set too. But they wanted to tack on the So Ready, which I totally get. And the energy, when Peter did the clapping, absolutely amazing moment. I just think in the grand scheme of the show, it would have been smarter to save that. I didn't know if it was 11 to 13 minutes. Might have been smarter to save that for the second set, especially given the short drip field we got. Adam, what were your thoughts on this?
So I have no thoughts on the first half because I was ready to go to the bathroom after Prince, and I was like, I'm going. So went and got back just in time for the guitar solo. So kind of timed it perfectly. But I thought it was great. I always liked So Ready. I'm Team Slow usually, but it's fun live. I just thought it was unnecessary. But having said that, I actually thought you ended on much higher energy than if you ended on Prince. I think to the extent you want to send a crowd out to the, to beers and whatever on a high note, it was a high energy conclusion.
Yeah, so that's the one thing I have to say about this, which is I've seen enough So Readys to not be thrilled about So Ready, but also acknowledging what the crowd was and where we were and what was happening in the moment. I think the loudest crowd reaction that happened in that first set was for So Ready.
Yeah.
Not I Would Die For You, or so folks were stoked about this. So it's good stuff.
We're going to take a second to shout out Dylan. He needs the world to know he was planning on bringing Sally's beats for people in line, but the rain has derailed his plans. Sorry to anyone who's in line. I don't know. Is there a line right now? If you're waiting in line right now, Godspeed. And if you're waiting in line in the rain right now, you're probably not watching this podcast. So, anyway, let's move on to set break here. Adam, how are you feeling at set break? Kind of expectation for set 2?
Dude, awesome. I just sat in my seat, sat near you guys, saw a few friends swung by. I was feeling good. I was tired. I'd been on the road for a week.
Yeah.
But it was a nice, I keep talking about the weather, but Philly was great. Was worried about that. Weather was great last night till the very end, but it was nice to just sit there and got a beer. I'd already gone to the bathroom. It was perfect set break.
Yeah, I kind of did a loop around the venue. I went to see our friends like Lucas and Tamara and that whole crew, Josh, Haps, over there in the Vibes section. It was cool. I just, wanted to walk around because I hadn't had the opportunity really, saving seats earlier in the show or before the show. And it just taking it in, how cool this venue is and just how, there wasn't a part of it where it felt like there was too many people. There were a ton of bars, a ton of places to get food. As you mentioned, a ton of bathrooms. Yeah, I would love to come back to this venue for sure.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like the vibe section. I mean, like the vibe section was like everywhere last night.
True.
But like if you were like standing facing
people
the stage,
we know.
the
Yeah.
folks off to the left,
Yeah,
like absolutely raging the whole section. And I, was like at the front was like Tamara and Lucas. And
yeah,
like,
and McConaughey's, and then we got like
There's, like,
Matt,
Chappie, and all those folks.
Brian, and
Yeah.
Miranda, yeah, everybody.
the whole left side was absolutely raging, and I think they were all like kind of feeding off each other. And like on that note, in our section we had a bunch of great folks.
And this, thank you, David, for reminding us.
That's what I was getting to.
People got married.
Yeah, that's the,
Oh, sorry.
and then so I missed a good chunk of set break because I decided to go to the bathroom at set break, like a rookie. Totally blew that. But when I got back, we saw the wedding happening, which was it was like a touching moment. People were really excited about it. Vibes were high.
Vibes were indeed high. Yeah, it was cool. I was talking to Lucas, and I suddenly heard like people in the crowd start cheering, and I looked over and like I saw like a veil, and I was like, people are getting married at set break. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. All right, let's get into second set here. We open up with, surprise. We'd kind of heard them sound check it as we were walking around earlier, but still did not expect this to open the second set, really, which is Travelers Elmeg, aka the Autumn Crossing Suite. Autumn Crossing is not a song, despite what B Dunn might tell you. He's not very good at things like that. But this was really, really cool. This is better than the Colorado one, in my opinion, just in terms of the way they jammed Elmeg. Some really cool stuff in there, but this was just, another really special moment. Hotel Wi-Fi. Another really special moment. Just like in Colorado, them playing Autumn Crossing is a really, really cool thing. Very surprised that it popped up again on the same tour. But man, this was really, really cool. What were you feeling? Because you weren't in Colorado as well. It was your first one.
Yeah, I wasn't in Colorado. Therefore, I've never seen a Traveler's Elmeg. Oh wait, I have. I was at Bread the Festival.
Oh, I forgot.
So I saw the original.
and I didn't see Game Edge.
Yeah, so I had the authentic experience. I'm sorry that you didn't, but in any case, this was good. Not as good as Bread the Festival. You just had to be there. No, just kidding. It was awesome. Really enjoyed it. I was surprised in the moment. I was just kind of talking about like set listing and like playing to the crowd. In this particular moment, I was surprised that they would play this for, thousands of people seeing their first Goose show. Like that is not the heat that you bring, like first or second set opener to like thousands of people seeing their first show.
Sure.
It's like Travelers, and it hit. Like it absolutely hit. I was surprised how well it hit. And then Elmeg obviously is just amazing. And I think I was surprised like how engaged people were. But I think what I also forgot in the moment is that Autumn Crossing exists and people are hearing this because it's on Spotify. So good stuff.
Yeah, it was really cool. And they jammed Elmeg, really amazing textures from Peter in here. Vintage vibe, just like dousing it in reverb, and just like really amazing textures from him. And then kind of a very familiar peaky jam that Rick led them into towards the end. Adam, what were your thoughts on the Autumn Crossing here?
Yeah, so good. There was a rumor I'd heard when I was walking around that they sound checked it, and I was like, oh, they got to be encoring that in Westville.
Right.
Like I was like, that's cool, but there's no way they're gonna play that here. It's just not the right crowd. I don't know, but and then set 2 opener was totally unexpected. I love it. Like it's the first time I've seen them paired. Just really cool. There was a moment in between the two that I didn't think they were going to go to Elmeg, and I was like, oh, maybe they're going to come back to it and close the set with Elmeg, but almost had like 726 drums for a minute.
You and Neil were both
reverby section. Maybe Pete was on keys, but there was just like I haven't listened, but felt like maybe 60 seconds of like wandering, not that natural kind of Autumn Crossing transition. I thought it was awesome.
You and Neil were both pretty sure for a solid minute there that they were going to.
I was certain. Like certain.
Yeah, I was certain too. I mean, like it sounded like 726. They were doing the.
That's why I was on the set list thread.
No. And then they played like the first note of like Elmeg, and you were like, "See, idiot!" And I was like, "Obviously, you're them too." Like, anyway, we
have a good time here. And then there are a lot of times where you can feel that Thatch is imminent, and like they're about to play Thatch, even when before Rick's doing like the fretboard scratchy thing that he does. But like Elmeg wraps up, and I was like, okay, like they're gonna do Thatch. You know, as you said, like they did Traveler's Elmeg, which is kind of recognizable, but like more about like the emotion and the song, about just like balls to the walls, second set jamming. And Thatch was the absolute correct move after that. And they rip into it. Place goes nuts, of course, because it's Thatch. And just amazing. You know, Thatch has been crushing this year, kind of, you know, shorter versions, you know, usually landing like 16 to 19 minutes or so. But this one was awesome. Adam, what did you think of Thatch?
Yeah, so I'm going to start by saying something unpopular, but save it, which is it's not really my favorite song. Like, I'll start just as a song, like song construction, whatever. And there's versions I really like, and there's versions I don't love. Like, I didn't love the SPAC one that people loved. There's some that are like power chords and like, you know, throw down in the middle. I'm like, yeah, like not my Thatch. This one was fantastic. I thought they found like, we overused Blissy, but they found like that Blissy, bright, positive space. They found a darker space. But you know, for me in the middle of it, I actually had like a total space out moment when I had the same thing happen in Philly the night before. I had that moment where I'm like, this is a big band. Like I had that like,
yeah,
that like eureka moment. I was just sitting there and I looked at them like, man, this is a big jam on a big night in a big crowd at a big stadium. The lights were dialed, the sound was dialed. I was like, all right, they're like, I mean, I haven't seen them for a few months. So like, this is a really big band now. And like, so maybe that's not the most like musical breakdown of Thatch, but for me, that was like an awakening. I was just sitting there like, God damn, these guys are big. That's my Thatch.
Yeah, I mean, this Thatch went to several places, like Adam said. I think I don't know. This one struck me. This one got me back in the game. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, you were like stressing out about the weather. Like for a lot of the beginning of the second set, you like had your phone and you were like on the radar, and you were like we're gonna get hit. We're gonna get hit. Like,
well, I mean, that was my concern the whole entire time, was that the show was gonna get lightninged out.
Yeah.
And like actually, as the set goes on, like when we talk about the set list, like
stress went higher.
Yeah. It's, like I really was worried about it, and then we were driving out of there at night, and like I wanted it to be safe and like all that stuff. But in any case, yeah, I mean, this jam was the whole time I was like, when are they gonna do like 2024 Goose?
Yeah, where's the jam?
And like, not even like where's the jam, but like where's the 2024 Goose? There was a jam in Elmeg, but that felt like 2023.
Right.
And I was like, when are they gonna do the 2024 Goose thing and like absolutely knock people's socks off? And here it was. And it's exactly what Adam was saying. It was like they found several sections. It was like, democratic jamming and like all this stuff. Yeah, and like everything felt great. Cotter doing the Cotter thing, and Jeff being very present in the jamming, and like all of that stuff was here in this batch. Yeah,
it was amazing. Shout out to the delay clav early on in the jam. This is where you guys are going to talk about this front. I still don't think it is. But I hear why you think it sounds a little bit like Eminence Front, but I don't think it sounds a little bit like Eminence Front.
I think there was like a moment there where it was just like, I hear a little bit of Eminence Front, and then shortly thereafter I was like, I hear a little bit of Dragonfly.
Yeah.
But none of it ever came to be. But I have a feeling both of those songs are at the front of their minds right now.
One of my favorite parts of the Thatch as well, watching the stage, was they're grooving in, and Trevor does like one of his like little bends higher up on the bass, like the boo, and he did that, and Rick immediately I had the reaction like, oh, Trevor, and like Rick like looked at him like, oh, like
this is great.
And we watched it back on the webcast this morning, and you noticed like he looked in time, like he waited until the beat to look at Trevor, which was
so good.
It was funny. But yeah, this crushed, and it was just like waves of bliss happening, peak after peak. And then what I also thought was cool about the re-entry to Thatch is instead of going back into Thatch and then jamming on that for a minute before hitting the ending, Rick just tore right into the ending, which I thought worked really, really well here. Good stuff. Thatch. Anyway, after that, we get, classic 726 Drip Field pairing. Absolutely love it every time it pops up. Drip was very short given the time constraints. They wanted to get the encore in. But this was cool. The jam starts. We get a solid couple of minutes. Peter bops around the stage with his guitar. He went and ended up standing like in front of Cotter, in between Trevor and Rick, just having a ball. And then as they ended, he like took his guitar off and was like swinging it around. Like they were just all so happy last night, like on top of the world. But Adam, what did you think of 726 Drip here?
726 was great after that. It was starting to get windy. Like everyone was looking around a little, and then they had just played like that perfect. Like that song makes me think of like people playing in the street in New York with like the fire hydrants going, right? Like the first time I heard it was Sculpture Park, super hot out, and it has that summer cool evening thing. It was like perfect. Dripfield, it was great. It was too bad it was short. I actually was sure they were just going to non-core, just keep going with Dripfield. I think Neil was talking about lightning's coming. They're going to like stop mid Dripfield, and I was certain there was no encore coming. But then they ended with like what 10 minutes, and I was like, okay,
yeah. Well, it was
a good Dripfield. I thought it was enough to give everybody a taste of it.
Sure, and during Drip, do you want to talk about it?
Well, no, I think that Drip is fine. Yeah, like I'm not mad about it. Like, I mean, a longer Drip is cool, and that's all they've ever really done. But the shorter Drip really works. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe this is a thing that can happen. I don't know.
Radio edition.
Like, the radio edition of Dripfield, definitely don't hate it.
Well, I mean, Dripfield is just an amazing song.
Yeah.
And it's Dripfield is their song that was written for these huge venues. You know, like there's a reason why it was debuted at their first arena show. You know, that was purposeful on the part. Also during Drip, we saw Fernando, one of the crew, who's on video, like sprint up the stairs past us, and that was when like Neil, like I thought he was gonna like have like go into cardiac arrest for a second. Like this is it. Yeah, like, this is it. Like they're gonna cut it off. We're assuming that he was going to get like a camera that maybe they had up at the top of the venue. You know, just before it started raining. You know, this is when they started putting some covers on stuff on stage. They come out for the encore, and I think we were kind of discussing like, give it time.
No, like it was the consensus decision. It was like, there can be nothing else. It's like it's going to be like a disappointing cover, or it's going to be like give it time.
Yeah,
or like if they come here and don't do it, we're pissed.
I mean,
if they do give it time, we're stoked.
I mean, I wouldn't be pissed about don't do it. I would be pissed because we were expecting a give it time.
Exactly.
Shout out to my mom. You know, Give It Time is her favorite song. This is her second time getting to see it after Colorado. But again, song of the summer. More people are learning the words every single time they play it. It is just it's so good, and it was a perfect closer. And I just like I couldn't believe that like right as the song ended, it started raining. Like not a second early. Like that was crazy to me. But
it was like the stars aligned.
Yeah,
it was all.
They're like, we'll wait until Goose is done. Like, not a second later. Like, you're not getting out of the venue without getting rained on, but it won't happen during the show, which is really cool. Adam, what did you think of this Give It Time encore?
This is a perfect closer. I mean, it's an amazing song. My first time seeing it. I was shocked at how many people were singing along. A lot of people knew the words. Like a lot of people knew the words. It was a huge sing along. They brought up the house lights for the drums and the last round, and you really see how big the place is. One of the best songs they've written in a long time, and I thought it was a perfect closer. The timing was uncanny, right? I mean, it was just starting big drops of rain right when it ended. I've been so negative on set lists, like having not been at the shows, just watching from home, and I actually thought it was a perfect set list, like perfect way to close a perfect set list.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah. All right. Guess it's just me. All right, I give Ryan and Neil a minute, and then I guess I have to see this one out. You guys there? It is absolutely pouring rain for anyone who's not up here. All right, I got the "be right there" message.
Are we back? All right.
Back.
Sorry about that, guys. Again, hotel Wi-Fi. We got one more show tonight to close out the tour here in Westville. Whatever time it starts at, however long it ends up being. Curfew got pushed to 11, which is great. It's going to be awesome. If you see us out there, please say hi. Adam, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with us through the technical difficulties. We'll see you tomorrow for our final day after show of Summer Tour, 3:30 Eastern. We're going to talk about tonight at Westville, which is going to be awesome. Love you all. Thank you so much.
Mushrooms. Adam, you with us still?
Yep. Hi.
Wait,
Oh, awesome. Dude, you're the man.
wait. We're not off yet. Vexed by technology.
We're still on straight.
Apparently, we're still going. I hit the button. We're waiting for it to turn off. I could stop at any moment.
It's waiting until we hit it.
Nope. All right, we're going to keep trying.